I cannot stand the snaggletooth in general, but what I really hate is the skin flesh snaggletooth. Like, who the fuck thinks that's logical at all? Who wants to have sharp skin? And you know another goddamn thing I noticed while watching this show? They changed the side of her snaggletooth over and over. There is no consistent fucking side of where her snaggletooth is. I challenge you to go back and rewatch one episode and count how many times they swap her fucking snaggletooth.
Get your shit together, LINDENFILMS.
Awful.
Get your shit together.
It's so fucking dumb. It's like change shot, and the snaggletooth is on another side. Heidi ho, hello everybody. Welcome back to the box, the Annie chat box, where 5, sometimes 3 friends snuggle up in a teeny tiny space to talk about all things anime. It's been a little while. In case you've forgotten, my name is Cammie and I'm here as your host on our episode 135. But of course, I am not alone in this box. First, to free her of any impending misery, let me get greetings out of the way for our sick but wonderful part 1 of a new dog parenthood, Cassie.
That's me. She's talking about me. Me.
Coughing your way right in.
Yep.
I love
That's
you.
Me.
And not coughing their way right in, I want to talk about this upcoming movie mogul who is just watching flick after flick this week. That is the man of many voices, Gregory.
It's been a long time since I've been here. I'm also trying to do catch-up work for Sarah Progress's end of the year. Look forward to that in the coming weeks. Yeah, movies are good. I'm also binging a bunch of video games, so get hype, kids.
Get hype, kids. Yo, and that's not even just to talk about, I don't know about you guys, but I actually have to do some roundup and catch up for our own end of the year specials.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm frantically trying to watch anime that came out this year, and then I was like, you know what I also want to do? Restart Detective Conan from episode 1.
And watch all of Chihaya Furu.
And watch all of Chihaya Furu like a fucking addict.
And Precure.
Chihaya Furu is like a pure 100% like dopamine drug. Like, just shoot it straight into my system and I just feel so many things, but mostly happy. So you guys should watch Chihaya Furu. It's good.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I need to get back into anime because unfortunately I discovered on Netflix this little series called The Great British Baking Show.
Oh, I've heard of this.
I'm in a hole, you guys. It's a problem.
Oh,
Are you telling me you quit Lizzie McGuire?
Okay, that was a one-day deal. But
you go back to Disney Plus. Go back.
I'm so disappointed. I was hoping to get more snaps of you talking about all the beautiful hairstyles and 90s attire, but no.
Isn't she doing like a Disney Plus like movie or new series where she's an adult or something like that? Kind of like
that is going to happen.
Yeah,
yes,
kind of like a Raven's Home situation.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Cassie, for you, because it means so much to you, I didn't know it meant so much to you, so I can navigate. But the core problem remains is that I'm not watching a ton of anime. So I need to get back to that and do as Cassie is, which is knocking out stuff for the end of the year.
It's okay. I watched 20 episodes of Detective Conan for you. You're good.
Damn, that's a lot of episodes.
Yes. There's 800 more.
But hey, today we're actually doing that old thing that we used to do quite often, which is talk about kind of seasonally relevant anime. This might be not like the last time, but we're gonna shake up the system next year. So this is almost in one way a transition out of an era.
It's true.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. For a refresher, if any of you are new listeners or it's been a while, this is going to be a double up episode. So we're going to talk about 2 shows back to back. Prepare yourselves because, wow, we have two very a variety of shows today.
Very similar and yet very different shows.
I was about to say, some could say they're both comedies. Now, whether or not they are successful, both successful, is in the eye of the beholder.
Indeed.
In
Indeed.
the arms of
An angel.
You know what? Angels have wings. You know what else has wings? Pigeons.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh god.
So
here we go. That was
that
was a good transition.
No, it was great. It was 100%. The oh no was because I was trying really hard to keep us as far away from talking about this anime as possible. But you committed.
Unfortunately, when a patron gives us money, we do have this thing where they can give us shows to watch, and no one takes greater advantage of that than our dear patron Suki. Suki's had us watch a variety of beloved shows on this podcast, including Uzumaid and Miss Vampire Who Lives in My Neighborhood.
Oh yes.
And today, she is having us review the show Magical Sempai, or Tejina-senpai in Japanese. Let me hit you with some stats about Magical Sempai. In case you didn't know, it is animated by Studio LINDENFILMS, and they have also animated Hanebado and Koita Uso, which you've probably heard us mention in some capacity before. And Tejina-senpai aired in the summer of 2019. The synopsis for it goes: starting his new term at Tanenashi High School, an unmotivated freshman searches for a club that requires minimal participation to suit his needs. Then he comes across the magic club room, and inside is a cute upperclassman practicing her magic tricks. Suffering from stage fright that causes her to slip up in her acts, she has a tendency to end up in the most embarrassing situations. Despite having little interest in a club run by an incapable magician, the freshman finds himself involved as a new member, experiencing all sorts of awkward moments with his eccentric mentor. I think another good thing to mention just right off the bat is that Tejina-senpai is technically a short, not like a really short show, but the episodes range from being about 10 to 11 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With an opening and an ending, so...
True, that's true. I didn't even think about that part. So that being said, it is a comedy. It is a short comedy. I guess a good place to go in with story is asking, did this show really have a story? And then how did it work? Yeah, and then I guess just how it worked for you as a comedy. I don't think there was story either. What about you, Craig? Do you think there was a strong narrative in
There
this
was no through line. There was no arc. I guess maybe it goes throughout the year because they go to the beach, which implies that there is a summer break or something, ? But outside of that, I mean, no, not really. There's literally 3 or 4 skits per episode, so...
You could argue there's a through line that the point of the show is she's supposed to be trying to get over her stage fright, but that only really comes up occasionally and when it's convenient for a really gross joke. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. It's really just kind of little one-shot, like 4-coma school lifestyle. There's not really any...
No.
narrative. I think the same could be said as far as like, there's kind of like, could these characters like each other, but they don't really do anything with it. And I will say, I did not root for any romance in the show. I didn't want it. Like
It was the funniest thing because I remember Suki tweeting about the show like every week, and then she would talk about certain characters. I completely mind wiped this entire show until I started in on it. Watched 3 episodes, and I'm like, I'm not feeling this at all. And then I got to the sister and the brother, and I'm like, oh, right, those characters. Even with the introduction, like I was texting Cass when I was watching it in the early episodes, so like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling the characters. This plot is not funny to me. Maybe the other characters will make this better. One character made it a little bit more tolerable, but she's only in maybe like 1 or 2 skits.
Right.
So.
Right.
When it comes to the brother and sister combo, I did like that they brought in the aspect of street performance.
Yes.
As opposed to magic.
Yeah.
That could have been really fun. But it really didn't go anywhere, and it only really got a chuckle out of me like once or twice.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like a more eloquent way to say that, and I just got nothing. I got nothing, and neither does the show. It's got nothing. It tries to bring things to the table, it tries to execute things, and it's just as bad at being a show as the senpai is at doing magic.
Question.
Ooh.
Question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is it SEMPAI or is it SENPI?
Both are I asked Lily about this. They're both adequate ways to spell senpai.
Okay, then. I honestly
It did annoy me because I've always seen it as SENPAI.
Yeah.
But apparently SEMPAI is just as adequate.
I had no idea. I honestly thought that it was just like a typo, and then the people at Crunchyroll were like, shit, we gotta roll with this. We can't retroactively fix the subs after the fact. But hey.
I think a good point that you brought to my attention, Cassie, is that, like, there are definitely other shows that have had gimmicks in them, like, especially other short comedies. Like how, I forget what it's called, but that one short show about the husband and wife where the husband makes her cocktails, like, you know, that has the gimmick.
Oh, Love
with,
is like a
cocktails.
cocktail.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. And even at least with that show, which I think was cute, I don't think it was anything particularly notable, but it did get me interested in the gimmick that it had, which was cocktails and how to make cocktails and like, maybe this would taste good.
Yeah.
This show did not give me, it didn't make me care about magic, like at any point. It just wasn't delivered in a way that like wanted audiences to care about magic. It was just using it as a vehicle for inappropriate jokes.
You know, I think that, excuse me, I think one of the things I brought up, I can't remember if it was with Craig or with you, but I was like, Magic Senpai should have gone with the how heavy are the dumbbells you lift approach, where it's still kind of sleazy, but it teaches you something interesting, and that makes it kind of fun. Like,
right.
Like, I mean, she still looked super sexualized when Akemi would bench press, but they were legitimately teaching you how to bench press. Like,
exactly.
It made that's what made that show so fun. Like, even if it was really heavy on the fan service and made some pretty sleazy jokes occasionally, at least I came away with something that I did actively enjoy and could say I learned something. Whereas, with this, I think they try and teach you some stuff, but the joke is she fails, and it's like, she can only fail so many times and it be funny, which is none. It's never funny.
Yeah, she pukes a lot, even, like, and you think that would get me? It doesn't get me.
Are you into puke, Craig?
No, like...
Does that make you
No,
I'm confused.
As in, like, man, like, she would screw up and you'd be like, oh, ha ha ha, she puked because she's got stage fright, but I'm like, no, the punchline literally is the puke, and it's not, that isn't even working.
Craig's into puke.
No, I'm not.
Ew.
I don't think that I ever laughed at a joke. I will say I give them credit for this one joke because basically I was watching this show while doing my hair often because it was just a small amount of time I had to knock out some episodes. And there was a bit about ventriloquism with like using a puppet.
Oh, right.
And this there's a lot of weird layers to this. So basically, the girl is talking about how there are certain words that are easier to say than others without moving your mouth very much. And one that she talks about is the word pushy. And I'm sitting there like doing my hair, and then I'm like,
Did you just
pushy.
Did you just do a double take?
I'm like pushy, and then I was like, oh,
you did a double take.
I get it. And then because he's like, he basically is like, I get it, you could stop saying that word. And then I was like, oh, because I tried saying this aloud, I get it. Also points because that translation and in Japanese, it works to make the double entendre in both ways because that word in Japanese is manko, and when she's trying to say pushy, she's saying maho. So it works both ways. It's good localization, I figured it out by being an idiot and pretending to follow along with the show.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't get it until you just explained it to me. So good on you.
So there you go. They had one goddamn kind of smart joke. So I guess good for them. Good for them.
Cass was talking about it before we recorded. The joke on the beach episode where it is the pinata, that got me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it also is just because I hate all of the characters. So seeing essentially a wipeout without explaining what happened, but seeing them all get wiped out made me feel a little better.
Yeah, it was kind of cathartic.
Especially because one of the characters gets knocked in the head really hard, and she's one of the characters I hated the most. So that felt good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hate the tissue sniffing sister. She's gross.
Saki.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we did start talking a little bit about some notable jokes. Does anyone have a notable worst joke in mind?
The worst?
I think...
the worst
just one that
joke?
really set you off. Just one that made you, that you really hated, that you really were just like, ugh, or like, you know.
Her giving birth to doves. Like she literally equates it to childbirth, and she does all the motions. And I'm like, that is not the fan service does not work here, and all of this does not work, and the main guy is also like kind of thirsting for her in these sleazy moments, and I'm like, no. Get out while you still can. Go to the science club, please.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a...
I almost laughed with the dick balloon, and then they went too far with the dick balloon.
Oh, yeah.
It got to a point where I was a little uncomfortable.
Wasn't that the one where he was walking by, and then he was like, what are you all doing?
No.
Oh,
well, yeah, but...
That was the start of it.
That was the start of it. I'm talking about when they actually... made a balloon, and then she's like, oh, hold it between your legs.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it looked gross. I didn't like it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched this a few weeks ago, and it's kind of unmemorable. Like, us talking about it is making me remember some of this, and that speaks volumes to me about the show.
I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna stop recording today. I'm gonna forget it even exists.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair argument.
And then shoot some Chihaya Furu straight into my fucking blood work, yeah!
Hell yeah.
Cartel.
Speaking of things that were unmemorable, y'all want to talk for a millisecond about the characters?
What characters?
Man, aren't they fucking great?
I just saw a bunch of paper cutout pieces of shit walking around the entire time. Where were the characters? Oh, you're talking about the little stuffed animal, right?
Yeah, that one. It's the best character.
Yeah,
favorite
that one.
Character.
That's 10 out of 10.
I would argue Madara, the science girl, is the best character in this show.
I mean, I like her, but there are also problems with her.
Yeah, the show doesn't do her any favors either, does it?
Not really. She has some really cute moments, and I like her science moments, but she's not a character.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue with her is what you already mentioned, Craig. It's that they just don't know what they're doing with her. She's handled very clumsily and is like barely even present to like make a mark.
Yep.
It's more just that when she does show up, it's kind of like, oh, okay, like this is great, but you didn't do anything. She's
the observer in the background saying, man, them wacky kids.
Before we move on to continuing to talk about characters, I do want to talk about one more thing in kind of like the story format and if I found it funny. I did not like that they continuously would reuse jokes. Like the situation where she would like burn up her money or cut up money or whatever. Like that kept coming back over and over again. And I was like, this joke wasn't funny like 3 episodes ago and it's not funny now.
Right.
Like, please stop. Anyway, that was the only other thing I had.
It's the common magic trick, though. Maybe if she practices it enough times, maybe she'll get it. No, she won't. She'll vomit again.
I almost kind of liked the episode where they went and performed for a bunch of kids, and then they had to screw that up, too. So,
yeah.
And then they looked up her skirt.
Yeah, not a fan. Anyway. I'm gonna die.
Please, don't let this show kill you.
This is it.
Don't do yourself that disrespect.
Ugh.
Yeah, I particularly disliked Magical Senpai as a character. Like, she set me off in a lot of ways, primarily in character design, which we'll go into later. But I didn't want to be around her for this many episodes. And so I don't like the way she even, like, is voiced as to be, like, just very abrasive, but also clumsy.
Yeah.
Like, and she... I just hate her.
Yeah.
I kind of hated her. Like,
I
and
hate
it's
her
not...
too.
Yeah, it's probably not even, like, fair or just. She just sets off this, like, instinctive loathing inside.
See, there are characters that I can like, but I would never want to be around in real life.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
Nanami from
Utena.
From Utena. She's a
Hell
great
yeah.
character. Would
Hell
never
yeah.
want to be friends with her or even know her in real life.
Yep.
But
Yep.
she's fun and crazy and a good character.
She has an egg.
Ugh. Magical Senpai can't pull that off. She can't pull
Yeah.
off the I'm annoying but somehow intriguing character. She can't do it.
Mm-mm.
She's
She's just pathetic, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have liked excuse me, I would have liked her better if she ever did anything of value. But she
Mhm.
never does.
She doesn't.
Yes.
Again,
She
she
just sucks. She sucks.
again, like, they try and make her get better, but it just kind of, like, relapses on itself with her stage fright. Then you have the assistant, which is literally, I wrote here in my notes, why am I here? Because he literally says that multiple times throughout the show, yet he still sticks around. His character design looks fucking just, like, plain and boring as hell. And he's like, I just want to play video games. But you're still in the room with the girl because maybe you're like, or the guy's like, oh, maybe oh, look, it's her boobs, and maybe, like, you can see her panties, maybe that's the reason I'm here. I don't like this kid either.
At first, I was, like, hopeful. Why was I ever hopeful with this show? But at first, I was just like, okay, well, I do clearly hate this main character. If we have a decent enough cynical straight man, maybe it'll get me through it. But the thing is, he's just such a fucking lecher, like, asshole, and there's just nothing really that I found very redeemable with him.
His personality is, like,
away.
literally of that of cardboard. Like, he has nothing to offer. He, like, even Kazuma from, like, Konosuba is, like, funnier than this kid, and Kazuma also is just like, why the fuck am I here with all these girls?
I think they're two different shows doing two different things.
Fair.
But I get where you're coming from. Like, he doesn't have the charisma of a straight man surrounded by a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Because, like, that can be played off really well.
Yeah.
And you can make a really intelligent person look stupid. And we'll get into that with Kaguya later. But again, it can be done really well, but it's not done well on this show.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And then basically, yeah, I didn't like the outside of the potential with, like, oh, kind of street performance, like the brother and sister are just like nothing. They don't even, like, I'm really also kind of frustrated that, like, they don't even do anything with the fact that the sister is a gyaru. Because they're, like, I think that is an interesting archetype, but they don't even really do anything. It's just for kicks, and then she just becomes the poster child for fucking lusting after your brother. And potentially having, like, a chubby fetish or something. I don't know. I also absolutely hate the use of the brother for fat jokes. That's come on, anime.
It's gross.
It's not funny. Yeah, so.
And honestly, that's all he's there for. He doesn't really do anything else.
Yeah.
As
He's the least utilized out of the four.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, it just comes down to a particularly dull cast. Madara has potential. Cassie, was there another thing you wanted to bring up about her, or was that just me imagining things?
Really, she's the only part of the show I liked. The thing is, she showed that God, I can't talk today. That the anime could be fun and could teach you stuff. When they had, like, moments where they were like, okay, this is how she's freezing the Coca-Cola over, or this is how I made this cup bend in half or whatever. She always explained it. God, I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. And it made it fun. It made it really fun. I wish the whole show was just about her doing that. Or the senpai actually teaching us anything fucking good.
Yes, I agree.
Madara just needs to be in Dr. Stone, like Kami said earlier.
That's where she belongs, clearly.
Excuse me.
Yes. Are y'all good to move into production?
Before we do, I just want to say something really quick. The thing that sucks the most about Magical Sempai is, at least with Uzumaid, I got angry in a way that I could yell and be funny about it. But Magical Senpai has sucked the humor out of me. I've just been sitting here for like the last 30 minutes going, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks. There's nothing productive for me to say about it, and that frustrates me.
There is no constructive criticism. There is no silver lining out of this. I was going to ask and be like, would this show have been any better if we watched it week to week? Because I know I binged the show over the course of like a couple of hours. I don't know if that did it any favors. I don't know if the show would have been any better if I watched it week to week.
Well, I think that if you watch it, excuse me, if you watch it in a binge way, then you're just beating a dead horse. So I can see why that would get, and it is weird thin for me doing that too. Maybe week to week it could be more of like one of those like Hogwarts jelly beans that taste like vomit.
Oh,
you just kind of eat occasionally because you think it's funny to feel awful.
Or the earwax flavor.
Yeah, basically. That's what Magic Senpai is. So yeah, if you eat a bunch of really disgusting every flavor magical beans every second of every day, and then turn around and go, wow, this sucks. Well, then no shit, Sherlock. So yeah, maybe don't binge it. Maybe that was the problem. No, I think the show still sucks, but that may have made it worse.
I think, strangely enough, I got into, I'm sure there's a is it, what's it called? That...
Stockholm Syndrome?
Yes, I got into a Stockholm Syndrome thing with the show where I would watch about 3 episodes at a time, and it's just like 20 minutes in, somehow my brain melted to be slightly more tolerant of what was going on because I was like trapped in there. So I don't recommend I don't recommend binging it, but I think watching 3 episodes at a time worked well for me in that I got Stockholm Syndrome. So
okay.
And you know what? Sometimes eating an earwax every flavored bean, like doing that occasionally for the kicks, I could see you doing that with Tejina-senpai. I could see you watching an episode once every 4 to 18 million months just to see what it feels like to watch something awful and then go back to watching good things. I can see that. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
I'd rather rewatch Uzumaid than ever watch this again.
Yeah.
Put that on the record.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, I think one of the main contentious reasons that I would also watch Uzumaid over this again is because of production value.
Yay!
Is there a Craig's Credit Corner today?
There's for both productions, yes.
Craig's Credit
Corner.
Director Fumiaki Usui, directorial debut. The guy has done like assistant directors and key animations for a bunch of other productions. I didn't write those down. Writer Rentaro Ikeda is writing the screen series composition for the latest Seven Deadly Sin season that's currently airing this season. Seven Deadly Sin, Wrath of the Gods. The character design, and we talked about this before we started recording. Eriko Ito did the character designs for Poco's Udon World. What the fuck happened, dude?
Listen, everybody's got to get a paycheck somewhere.
I guess it's fine. The character, is it the fact that they're animated horribly?
No, their designs are terrible too.
Well, I mean, the guy, it's based on a manga, so maybe the guy did what he could with the character designs. And the music is Takeshi Hama. Did the music for Kabato, funny enough.
Oh man.
There you go. And again, this is based on a manga, so yeah, the production is bad. This sounds really bad coming from me, but her boobs look really fucking weird, even by anime standards.
Thank you, Craig.
God,
I hate her boobs.
They look
even by like anime standards. It's like
dude, like anime boobs are exaggerated, but these look like literal like water balloons, just like free flow motioning themselves, and I'm like, physics, guys, this is come on, what the fuck is going on?
Would have been the best joke in the entire show if in that last episode they just exploded and they were never real.
That would be pretty great.
That'd be the best joke. Wow. And the whole show would be worth it for that one moment. But no.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
The cleanest animation that this show had ever had was the opening.
Yeah, the opening was nice.
Yeah.
And,
I agree completely. I am so glad that you mentioned her boobs, Craig. Can I quickly go into a little tirade about everything I hate about Tejina-senpai's design?
Yes, go,
quick?
please. This is going to be the defining moment of this show. Please. I'm putting down, I flipped the box upside down. You can stand on it.
Podium! Yes! Okay, so first off, since Craig mentioned it, I absolutely hate her boobs because they are like water balloons. The art also does this fucking bullshit thing where they add these little like shiny dots onto the fucking sweater to accentuate that like extra rubbery bullshit.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And I also hate that her face is in an eternal ahegao state. Like anytime she opens her damn fucking mouth and she has the blush and just the like creepy eyes that always look like they're just about to roll back from some good orgy or something. I hate it. I cannot stand the snaggletooth in general, but what I really hate is the skin flesh snaggletooth. Like, who the fuck thinks that's logical at all? Who wants to have sharp skin? And you know another goddamn thing I noticed while watching this show? They changed the side of her snaggletooth over and over. There is no consistent fucking side of where her snaggletooth is. I challenge you to go back and rewatch one episode and count how many times they swap her fucking snaggletooth.
Get your shit together, LindenFilms.
Awful.
Get your shit together.
It's so fucking dumb. It's like change shot, and the snaggletooth is on another side. It's ridiculous.
Kimmy,
and
you just murdered me. I did not see that coming. I am trying so hard not to fall into a cough laugh. Overload.
Okay, I'm so
my
sorry.
god. No, please keep going. This is the best.
So for clarification, is it just snaggletooth or is it skin-looking snaggletooth? Because I know Astolfo
Skin-looking
has...
snaggletooth.
Yeah, okay, I know Astolfo has that as well.
Yep. I hate it. Astolfo is good, but I fucking hate that design choice.
Yeah.
I think it's really dumb. You know what other design choice I hate? Fucking underlip. And you give me a fucking skin snaggletooth and underlip on this bitch? Oh my god, I just hate it so much. I hate her so much. And looking at her was a curse upon every day that I had to watch this blasted show. And then, you know, they give me a character that I think maybe looks okay. Maybe. This green-haired girl with the glasses. No, they had to give her fucking nasty fangs, sharp fangs on top of a fleshy underlip. How does that even fucking work? It doesn't look human, and I hate it. And you know what else I hate? I hate the main character's little beady eyes with, like, the dot in between them. They're so ugly, and the brown that is his hair and his eyes is, like, poop brown. There's
no depth.
Just a lot
There's no depth
wrong
on him.
with this fucking show. I just hate the character design so much. And Cassie, would you please like to share what you found with everyone for our listening audience that you just posted in the Discord?
Oh, I just want everyone to know that if you really, really like the constant ahegao and the snaggletooth gets your motor running, there is a Magical Sempai hug pillow available. I don't know where to buy it, but I just found it on the internet. And honestly, all I did was type Magical Sempai into Google image search, and it's like the fourth image. So there you go. There you go. You wanna wake up every morning to that face, Cammy?
No! I will burn it! I'll set it on fire! Please do not get me that as a Christmas gift.
Oh my god, I'm writing it down!
Oh my fucking god.
You know what? I dare say... No. I'm gonna go on record right now by saying I think this art looks better than the actual fucking production.
Ooh, let me close up it. Shit.
I mean, it might be an artist. I don't know.
It It kind of does. I think that the design factors are still awful, though.
The design factors are a little bit awful. I would say the one on the right. God, this is horrible for audio listeners. But the one on the right actually looks a little bit better than the one on the left.
This very well might be somebody's artwork. I don't know. But that just means somebody went out of their way to make this.
I mean, it's also selling figures. Remember, you told me that it's selling figures.
Excuse
Damn.
me. Cassie. It's an official figure. This, I think, is just somebody's artwork. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Actually, a fun thing, little funny story, and Cassie, you can expand on this, but remember when we were talking about shots in the opening that, like, we hated or whatever?
Yes.
You mentioned one, you said you hated the diarrhea chair spinning, and I'll be honest, I hadn't finished the show at that point, and I didn't realize we were purely talking about the opening, and I was waiting for an episode where somehow it just went full fucking hentai, and they tied her to a chair, and she started shitting while spinning. I am very glad that was not the case.
No!
Damn, Cass.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Would you like to explain to our listening audience what you meant? Because I do understand what you mean, and it's pretty
There's
bad.
a shot in the opening. There are a couple shots in the opening that are actually pretty good. There are also several shots that are pretty bad. One of them is of MC-kun spinning in a chair. Multiple versions of him.
Yes.
Spinning in a chair with this weird diarrhea-colored background swirling around, which made me laugh because now I've got the added layer of Cammy pointing out he has shit-colored hair, so...
It all blends in together into a sea of brown.
It's all just one big pile of shit, which is a precursor to what the show is, so there you go.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
I hate this show. I hate it.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Because, Suki, I know you love it, and I know you're listening, and I love you, but why? Why?
You know she's just going to pick another show that is going to be great for us to watch, right?
Listen, she picked Super Gals, and I have actually pretty high hopes for that one.
I think our new strategy when seasonal anime rolls around is to just, like, message her about these really good shows and be like, man, this is shit. I hate it. You should check it out, because I know you like trash anime, and then but it's just really good shows that we want to watch.
Well, the thing is, like, well, here's a good question. Do you think as garbage junk food, Magical Sempai is worth your time?
No.
No.
Not if you value your time.
Now, you see, I agree, but I'm also the same person who watched all of Ao-chan Can't Study, so I feel like...
That's better.
I would have watched Ao-chan. I totally would have watched Ao-chan.
Ao-chan's better than this.
Oh, it is.
I can even say that.
But it suffers from some of the same problems.
Okay, yeah, you raise a good point there.
So it's just kind of like, why do I like one and not the other? It's
a gamble.
God, I hate it. I hate the show. I hate it. I hate it.
Do we have any other production talks, or do we just want to rate this sucker?
Rate the sucker.
I could rate this sucker.
Well, I want to talk about a couple more things.
Okay.
Just a couple. Right. I hate, like you already mentioned, rubber boobies. I hate every time a woman is clad in any form of rubber. It happens more often than you think. They have like moments of full body rubber covering, and that is not something I ever needed to see, especially with the shitty animation quality of this show.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's disgusting. And I get really frustrated because there's a section in the opening where she's like walking with a cane, and it is some of the most fluid animation.
Where she's tapping
and
her
I'm
side.
Like, yeah, where she's like tapping and walking with her cane. And I'm like, man, this looks so good. Why can't the whole show look like this? Why?
It's only like 10-minute episodes too.
Now
so
imagine if this was 20-minute episodes.
And LINDENFILMS isn't like a bad company.
No, they did fucking Hanebado for the good parts of it. But
things, and it's just it's frustrating that they have obviously people who can do good work, but they gave probably less of a shit about this show than I even did.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's a very, very good point. I agree completely.
I also we didn't talk about it very much, but the way the animation moves is very stiff. There's very little of it. but when they are moving around, it looks disgusting. What little fluid animations there are, few and far between.
Yeah.
The ending song, like you said before, I agree, was kind of catchy.
Yeah. The ending animation is dumb and simplistic, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Title cards,
But the
see them
song
in
is
Scooby
nice.
outfits.
I really like the song a lot. That's, like, maybe the only thing from the show I actually legitimately liked was the ending song. And the part where it just ended. Like, when I was like, wow, episode 12 is over. I'm free.
I'm free. Please don't make season 2.
Just so you guys know how much I did not want to watch this show, a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I'll just watch 3 episodes a day until recording time. Like what Cammy was doing. The smart thing to do. Instead, I sat down once, watched 3 episodes, and was like, man, I really don't want to watch this show. So then I marathoned like 6 episodes in one night, and then was like, oh wait, we're putting off recording for another week? Cool. And then watched the last couple today. One of those episodes, the very last one, I finished minutes before this recording started. And guess what? I didn't have a whole lot more to say.
Other than it's over.
It's over. And I never have to watch it again. And you shouldn't either.
Is that your review?
Yeah.
No, we'll get to that later. I just got on my soapbox for a
Gotcha.
second.
It's okay.
We have a lot of boxes turned up and upside down in the ACB studio, so anyone can just step up at any time and make themselves feel taller.
We say, welcome back to the box, the AniSoapBox.
But are you taller? But are you taller than Olaf, who is 5 feet 4 inches?
I'm not. I am not taller than Olaf.
This broke my brain last night when I saw that.
I broke mine too. Lily said that to me when I was at work, and I just kind of sat there for a few minutes.
I've seen the image where basically it's him being 5 foot 4 inches, and then it showed Elsa being 11 feet 2 inches, and then someone retweeted saying, "Ah, yes, Elsa is a frost giant from Jotunheim." And I'm like, oh god, that's good. That aside, god, this shows something else.
Are we ready to... Can we
Cammy,
rate
did
this
you
sucker?
know that you're shorter than Olaf?
I did not, but now I do. And you know what? I'm probably going to hold on to that memory longer than I'm going to hold on to the memory of the show.
Bless.
So speaking of, can we rate this, this sucker?
I'm going to go last because I'm about to die.
Okay, yeah, take some rest. Craig, actually, I want you to go first. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Short and sweet to the point, much like the show viewing experience was for me. Skip the show. It made you guys way more mad, it sounds like, but at the end of the day, I just felt nothing to this. Like, it felt like I wasted my time. I could have, played a game or watched something else or done literally anything. The show itself, I don't know if the humor would work on anyone. We're going to talk about another comedy here in literally a little bit, and that worked for me. This one did not. Characters in the show aren't that funny, and they're not that entertaining to watch with their quote-unquote wacky hijinks. So please, skip this show and watch. There's way better garbage out there. So...
I like that. I like that tagline.
Yeah.
That's a good way to conclude your review.
Yeah.
There's way better garbage out there. Okay. Well, I actually have to echo the same score. This, I'm going to be honest. I had my score set for this show about halfway through watching it, which is definitely a skip it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this show essentially just really doesn't deliver on all of the points that it sets out to be attractive for an audience, whether you actually have a valid interest in magic, whether you just want some really nice attractive fan service, whether you want to laugh. I think all 3 of those points the show just does not deliver on, and I think that you're either going to react with frigid fury like Cassie and I, or just with disinterest like Craig.
Yep.
For the most part, I think that's how I would inform it to people. I can't say that I haven't heard some people have thought it was pretty okay as a popcorn show. Well, I don't agree. So it's like, but I don't even feel like it's worth checking out in lieu of many other popcorn shows or garbage, like Craig said. I really definitely resound with that point. There is better garbage out there, and I think the only reason I'm not really giving it a burn it is just because it didn't do something like as vehemently offensive as, say, like Green, you know? So it doesn't get a burn it, but I would definitely just go ahead and give it a skip it. Check something else out. All right, Cassie, take some good breaths if you're still alive over there.
Did you want to tell the recommendation for this show?
Oh,
before I steal your thunder?
Yes, thank you. Man, I'm rusty. Okay. So for a recommendation, I thought of Oshiete Galko-chan, or Please Tell Me Galko-chan.
Oh.
If you do want a show that is in short format and definitely plays with some of the very raunchy comedy, this show's actually really good.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, Galko-chan is really fun. It's very distinctive characters. They don't end up doing much outside of a classroom setting, kind of similarly to the Magical Sempai. There are indeed, like, big boobs in it. There's a gyaru in it. Mm-hmm. There is raunchy comedy. Like, sometimes it's like, oh, that made me a little uncomfortable. But you know what? It's really good. It respects women. It's almost informative at times. And it's just a good old time.
Nice.
It's just a good old time. Like, you should definitely go ahead and check it out. It's another short form show. Go watch it on Crunchyroll. If you really need good endorsement, Best Guy Ever on YouTube did a review of it, and he mentioned that Galko uses her weaponized thickness for good.
That's amazing.
Weaponized thickness.
I've never heard of this, and I want to watch it.
It's good. Definitely check it out if you need a palate cleanser. So, hell yeah. And then, thank you so much, Cassie. I will remember the recommendation on the next one.
Yeah, you good. You good, girl. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths. And guys, I'm sorry that I've coughed in your ears so many times. I just didn't want to be gone for another episode. Cammie's been doing some great readings of my thoughts and feelings, but gotta get back on the saddle eventually, even if I'm gonna fall off the horse. So, for my rating, I'm gonna perform a magic trick for you guys. Ooh. I'm going to take this show and hold it up, and it will disappear because it's being burned in a pile of flames, because this show is going to burn it. It is awful. Listen, you said it's not as bad as Green. I have a couple layers of news for you. One, things can be just as bad, if not worse, than Green, because there are several layers to hell, and this is definitely one of them.
Wait, it's worse than Green in your mind's eye?
No, it can be worse in some ways. And I think in some ways it is. I mean, at least one thing I can give to Green is while it was constantly sexualizing its characters, at least sometimes I could look at the character's face and it not be an ahegao. Like, there were moments where I was able to breathe. Magical Sempai does not give you that. It may not be as deep in the southern layers of anime hell as Green is, but it's pretty close. And I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to forget I ever watched it, much like Green and much like that hat show that was really bad.
Yamibo.
God.
Do you notice that Tejina-senpai has similarities to both of the previous shows that have been burned in the past? Because it involves a hat.
Yep.
Just like Yamibo.
Yamibo Season 2. Only renamed him Tejina-senpai. We figured it. We figured out the secret tech.
Damn.
Oh my god.
And yet somehow Tejina-senpai still has a more structured story than Yamibo. I don't know how that's possible.
Yep.
And that's the best compliment I can give it, and that's sad. But yeah, this show is not fun for me to watch, even as I do watch a lot of shows that are objectively bad and still enjoy them. So I can have a moment where I take a step back and really put, level my standards and level what I should be thinking about a show. I went into this show with the lowest of low standards, and I was still disappointed. And I just feel like that's just unfortunate. It was a waste of my time. And anything that is just a waste of my time doesn't deserve a skip it. Because a skip it's just, well, I would never want to watch it again. And I would recommend other people not wasting their time on it. But at least I can say that I did it. I'm not happy I finished Magical Sempai. There's nothing about finishing it that made me feel good about myself. So it can burn. I don't like it. Whoosh.
Nice. Drops the mic.
Whoosh.
I think this episode should be called Welcome to the AniSoapBox, by the way.
Welcome to the AniSoapBox. I wanted to say that a little bit better and more refined, but I'm sick, and you guys have to be nice to me.
I think you did a beautiful job. Sick or no?
Yay. Now we get to talk about things I like. I'm so excited.
This will be very fun. Yes, you have survived the Magical Senpai review, and now we're going to go into our second review for the episode, where we get to talk about Kaguya-sama. Love is war, love is war, love is war. Yes, Kaguya-sama was animated by Studio A1 Pictures. You may know them for Arrow Manga Sensei and The Promised Neverland. And Kaguya-sama aired in winter of this year. At the renowned Shuchin Academy, Miyuki Shirogane and Kaguya Shinomiya are the student body's top representatives. Ranked the top student in the nation and respected by peers and mentors alike, Miyuki serves as the student council president. Alongside him, the vice president Kaguya, eldest daughter of the wealthy Shinomiya family, excels in every field imaginable. They are the envy of the entire student body, regarded as the perfect couple. However, despite both already having developed feelings for the other, neither are willing to admit it. The first to confess loses, will be looked down upon, and will be considered the lesser. With their honor and pride at stake, Miyuki and Kaguya are both equally determined to be the one to emerge victorious on the battlefield of love. Cassie, this was a show you had up for impression and passed, right?
It was, at the very beginning of the year. It was good then.
Yeah.
It's good now.
Dun, dun,
Dun.
dun!
Yeah. I got nothing.
So actually good, I think this is an interesting question. Not that, I'm actually curious.
Yeah.
So in comparison, one of the things we talked about with Tejina-senpai is that there's no through line. Did we feel like there were, like, narrative paths in Kaguya-sama?
Personally speaking, I feel as though there really wasn't one until, like, at least episode 7 or 8. Where it focuses on a character in particular.
Yeah, but the thing is that within the genre of comedy, I don't necessarily feel like a story, or at least a narrative, specifically has to be present for it to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Case in point, Gintama.
However, if anything, a narrative in a comedy can cause whiplash sometimes. And I think that Kaguya rides that line about the halfway point, but it never overstays its welcome, and I don't think its comedy does either.
I think that's a really good point. Because definitely, like, I don't think that the show necessitates a through line, but I was just thinking about it, and I was like, wait, how do I feel about that? And I think you're right, that it does kind of ride the line, but it does so in a very nice way. Something I will say just for me is that I had to adjust to the mood of the comedy a little bit.
Yeah.
I never didn't enjoy watching the show, but I didn't, like, laugh a whole lot at first.
Yeah, same, actually.
Yeah.
It took me a few episodes.
Yeah, to kind of just get into the mood of things, and even the characters as well, because, like, they are performing well, but I didn't fully understand them and why they would react to things in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think especially in the beginning, a lot of the jokes were based around miscommunications and, like, misunderstandings. But they just got, like, as the show went, so much more creative and unexpected. And, like, as I grew to really love the cast and stuff, I did start to really, really enjoy the comedy in the show. I think it's probably stated with, like, any comedy that you need a little bit of, like, transition time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question then. Kimmy, did you... Well, I think I know, Cass, you watched this along with me when it was airing. Kimmy, did you watch it when it was airing, or did you...
I watched the first episode, and then I was like, hey, I'll put it on the back burner till it comes closer to review time.
Oh, okay.
So I watched most of it in the past, like, month or so.
Oh, okay. Did you binge it, or did you kind of, like, space it out, kind of like Magic Senpai?
Yeah, I spaced it out kind of like Magical Sempai.
Nice. Okay, nice.
Yeah. I will definitely say, though, like, I enjoyed watching this one a lot.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Actually, for a little while, there was a period of time where I did a Magical Senpai, then a Kaguya-sama, because it was like a reward for myself. Yes.
Well, there you
so, another thing I think for the comedy for me, and this is something that we mentioned on like the Tanaka-kun review, I think that everything with like the comedy only gets stronger as we build our ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Because I love it as soon as it's established with Kaguya and Shirogane, Chika, and Ishigami. Like, and even Hayasaka to an extent, who I also like. It was just fun
something
seeing
that Tejina-senpai couldn't do. The more people they threw in, the worse it got. Whereas with Kaguya, the more people who were added, and who were added not at really breakneck paces or anything, like their introductions seem smooth.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
and normal.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Ishigami was added at the halfway point, if memory serves.
Yeah, but the way they explained it was almost like he was there all along.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was done very well.
It suited his character a lot.
Oh, it really did.
Other things I think just in story that were interesting with this show, I like how the narrator was used, and I really like the today's match method.
Oh,
at the end of bits. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it talked about the end results. I liked it. That was pretty funny. To go back to like what you said earlier about like the having to get used to it, I had to get used to it mostly because of the fact that this, if memory serves, this came out in the winter, so I had to like get used to the pacing and the speed of the jokes, because sometimes the skit it would go over my head pretty quick, and then it'd just be like, oh, it determined who won and lost. But after a while, I got used to the speed, and just the performances alone sold that show for me. Like,
yeah,
and I can't wait for season 2.
Did I wanted to ask this too, and I'll go first so y'all have some time to think about it, but I also wanted to ask if you had a specific favorite joke or like comedic moment.
Oh.
Yeah. I think you got one, Greg?
Yeah, I actually do. I like the what really just sold me entirely on the show and the dynamics of the characters was I actually have two. I don't remember I remember only the punchline of one, but the skit where let's see, the student council president and Kaguya are wearing the cat ears, and they're literally losing their goddamn minds in monologue form. And
you literally mentioned my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I also I don't remember the setup to it, but the punchline where Chika starts beating the shit out of Ishigami with a paper pan. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good. But then again, I love that boy because he just wants to go home the entire time.
Like, I think the episode that literally did, like, where I finally lost my shit, like, laughing really hard was the cat ears one. I think I really love good voice acting.
Yeah.
And so just the sudden screaming of kawaii and, like, the way that they even just would, like, cut back to it continually and just, like...
Their eyes bulging out of their head. They're just like, oh my god!
Oh my god. It was so funny and just, like... It was just so well put together. I loved that one. And I actually really loved the volleyball one. That one made me laugh really hard.
Oh.
and was also a push as to why I really enjoyed Chika's character.
I raised
like
that boy.
Chika's amazing.
God.
Yes. What about you, Cassie? Were there ones that you really enjoyed?
One that I really, I laughed so hard, I probably would have spewed milk out of my nose if I happened to be drinking it at a time, is there is a specific skit, without ruining the punchline, where the student council president, God, what is his name? My brain's dying.
Shirogane?
Yeah, Shirogane.
There we go. I am so sick. Forgive me. Shirogane has a lunch, and he shares like a bite with Chika, and Kaguya's like inner thoughts. Like, I fucking lost it. And at the end, Chika does share something with her, and then her inner thoughts immediately afterwards. Like, I fucking just died. I was rolling.
Damn it!
That scene was great.
I feel like inner thoughts in general are always really good in this show. Like, really nicely utilized.
I love to kind of go off of that. It's like also kind of in the same vein where Shirogane and Chika exchange cell phone numbers, and then Kaguya's inner thoughts monologues is just like one reaction, and then they all just exchange cell phone numbers in the end. It's so good.
A joke that caught me off guard, and I won't go too deep into it, but a character is introduced and says something very, very dramatic, and at the end, there's just like a 3-second long clip of this character in a noose, and I like had to pause and rewind, and I was like, was that a noose that I just saw? Are they really like enacting this? What the fuck? That's dark! And it just like threw me off so bad. Oh my god. Yeah, even just like the production really nails in a lot of the comedy as well, which we'll get into in
very
more detail
clean
later. And I think that's another thing for me is like, even when what was going on screen or the writing wasn't making me bust up laughing, I still just like thoroughly enjoyed seeing the characters interact and the beautiful production. Like, it was always carried in a way that made it a really enjoyable watch.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that one thing that Kaguya does very well is it scrambles its formula. So, for example, with Tejina-senpai, where it was the same joke beaten into the ground over and over that, that the senpai is really shitty at magic, you've got this consistent joke that these two just can't talk to each other and are trying to outsmart each other, but the way that they try and do it every time is refreshing, and it's a different way of going about what they're trying to do, which makes it a hell of a lot more of a fun ride than watching the same dead horse being beat to death by another dead horse.
Yes, I agree completely. And even sometimes the character who's the main focus of the skit, sometimes they would break out and it was a skit that wasn't necessarily in the classroom and it's the president and vice president. Sometimes it's side characters. Sometimes it's one of the characters at home, for example. And then I think this is another thing we can get into. For better or for worse, there are also times where it the comedy takes a step back for something a little more serious.
Yeah.
So that part is I think for me it wasn't really a bad tonal shift. I think I had to be like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing now. But then I came to like it because I think this show, just with its writing, takes care and does well when it sets out to execute something.
Yeah. By that point, when it does the turn, you're invested in the characters and you kind of want to see what happens next, that sort of thing. And like it made me both simultaneously go like, okay, I get it because I'm invested, but I'm sure they're probably just going to go back to the in season 2 right back into the comedy bit. So
that's another thing actually I wondered about y'all's thoughts on. I feel like, at least for me, because I started watching the show after I knew that there was a season 2, but I feel like I have like no complaints about the ending because I think it was pretty nicely done.
Yeah.
But also, there's a season 2 coming, so I was just like, oh, sweet, we're gonna get that. Before you knew about that, what did you two think of the ending, just as far as being like satisfactory or?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
The fact that there is going to be a season 2 softens that initial reaction, because if this was only going to happen for one season, I wish they would have gone maybe like an anime-only approach where there's an actual conclusion.
Yes.
Because it is primarily a comedy, but it's a romantic comedy. And when you watch a romantic comedy, even if it's the funniest thing in the world, you want some kind of resolution. That happens with any kind of romantic comedy you're ever going to watch. I didn't give a shit about Magical Sempai not having a closure, because who cares?
Right.
But these characters, I'm invested in them eventually maybe saying Skida.
Skida.
Right.
Like, it would be nice. But
Yeah.
the fact that
Yeah.
we're getting another season, though, I'm like, okay. I don't think that this joke has been punched so bad that I feel like it's going to be overkill. I think as long as the cast and the energy stays the same, I could stick around for a long time without having that closure that I desperately want, because hanging that closure in front of our face is part of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to have a continued experience, then sure, why not? Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really glad that it was confirmed so quickly, as opposed to things that I would love to see a season 2 of, like Nozaki-kun. Just, yeah.
Dokukobo will never deliver. No longer.
Yes, but anyway, another quick joke that I wanted to bring mention to is that even before I was watching this show, Cassie showed me a clip that also just further sold it to me. Because she knows me, and spoiler alert, people, I have the humorous sensibilities of a 6-year-old, and in that I find a lot of toilet humor really funny.
Oh God!
And
oh no!
And there's just one skit, and I won't go into detail, but there's a skit that appeals to my sensibilities, and Cassie's just like, "This made me think of you. Let's watch it." And
isn't it the same skit that Lily lost her mind at too? If memory
I think
serves.
so.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that I should mention, is that the show ended up being very special to me because I watched it with my fiance weekly. It was like something that we did together, and us watching anime together, especially, is not something that happens like frequently. So when we get a show that we're watching weekly during a season, it's very important. I think the one before that was Asobi Asabase.
Yes.
Which was also a comedy.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a pattern here. But I think that this show also benefits from watching with other people. Like, I think that...
For sure.
I think that that added layer really made it special for me specifically.
Kami, did you watch... So you watched this by yourself then, Kami? You didn't watch it with Get?
We watched the first episode. He wasn't super into it. He kind of like couch watched some of it with me, which is just like basically one of us will be watching something, the other person's playing like fake Grand Order or shit on their phone, but we'll like, glance up and, just like chilling together.
Yeah.
So he did see pieces of it. I specifically asked him to watch the specific word joke skit that I mentioned earlier that Cassie showed me, because I was just like, you know me, you have to watch this. So he did watch that and enjoyed it. And I do think that even in that minute way for me, the presence of having another person, I definitely think bolsters the reaction that you have to it. And just the fun of seeing what happens on screen.
I can get that. I watched it by myself, unfortunately. But just seeing like the zeitgeist around it was fun.
For sure. This show had a lot of discussion the season that it aired. That being said, did anyone want to bring up any last minute points on story?
No, I don't think that's where the bulk of this is going to be.
Okay, so let's go into characters, which I think is really fun to talk about with this show. Cassie, who is your character you're sporting in your icon right now?
Oh, yes, Kaguya, because, the namesake. She's really great. I like her. She's one of the main leads, and her voice actress is phenomenal. Her mannerisms are very petty and beautiful, and I love her for it. I think that she's weirdly calculating, even though that her emotions are kind of like an open book, if you actually pay attention. I think she's very multi-dimensional for somebody who is in a comedy show, and I like that we get an excuse to explore some of her more serious feelings towards the end of the show. If anything, that was a really nice treat for me because I like her a whole lot. She also has a very rad character design. She's super sweet. I love her and Chica's friendship, even though it's the butt of a few jokes. I think that they have a great female companionship that I like a whole lot. I go on for a pretty long time about Kaguya, but basically she's the level of being confident that, God, I wish I could be.
I will definitely just say that I think that the fact that Kaguya, like, positions herself as being, like, kind of a very refined, like, Ojo-sama type, but then you find out that she is actually, like, also kind of petty and childish and in ways naive, is just very, like, adorable and endearing to me. I totally thought that she would just be an Ojo-sama archetype and, like, was good at everything and perfectly refined, but the more that we just see her and, like, get to learn more about her character, she just becomes more lovable. I loved it when she was sick in particular.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cute.
That episode was great.
That was so great. And like you said, I think that her voice actress really carries those different sides of her in a very genuine and, like, effective way. Lots of range, very good. So I liked her a whole lot. I think choosing between her and the character that I did choose was a very, very close race.
There are no wrong opinions about best girl for this show. They're all good.
Damn.
That's very true.
High praise.
I agree. Yeah. To talk about another one of those candidates in the ring, I'll just quickly say that my icon and the one I chose for my favorite character is Chika Fujiwara.
Ooh, she's cute.
She's so cute. I'll say right off the bat, I think one of my favorite things about Chika is that, to me, she was always the wild card in this show, and, like, in every skit, her presence just, like, always causes this unexpected, like, chaos to whatever the president and vice president are arguing about or, like, strategizing. She just inserts herself naively and, like, ruins everything.
Or enhances everything.
Or enhances. Sometimes she comes out a little bit on top, which I just think is really fun and really funny. She's a very energetic and genuine person.
She's also calculating. There's that one time when they play a card game and she's trying to fuck everyone over.
Yeah, apparently she's a master of tabletop games. So...
Yeah, and she just, even when she's, like, a savage, she just does it with this cute little cheerful dopey grin on her face. And I love her so much. And then the skits that focused on her more that we got just, like, further enhanced that love. And again, that I never really knew fully where she was coming from. But she also just seems very genuine. And then if I really needed more reasons to love her, her personality is great. She has an adorable character design. The episode 3 ending of this show just solidified what a fucking queen she is. We stan. Bow down to Queen Dancing Chica.
And I remember seeing, like, breakdowns of that animation too. It was really intense. It's very fluid.
It's so good, and she's so cute, and you can sync that footage with anything, and it immediately works. I think my favorite is when someone put it to the song "Juice" by Lizzo, which I'll link down later. But yeah, just all around, Chica's a good girl. She's a wild card. She is so much fun. She's adorable, and I love her.
She has an appreciation for ramen.
Yeah, hell yeah!
That skit
was so out of nowhere. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But there is definitely more to the student council than just those 3.
Yeah.
What else is there, Craig?
I was there, as you said, there is no losers in this cast, really. Only winners. I was debating
winner chicken dinner.
Oh. You're always a winner when you have chicken dinner. I was debating on either the president or the treasurer, and I ultimately decided to go on the treasurer, the student council. Ishigami. This boy, as Cass said before recording, reminds her of one of her friends, Andrew, because this boy just wants to he just shows up and just says, I want to put in the bare minimum and go home because I just want to play the latest video game, which I can relate to because I too want to go home and play video games when I'm at work. He's always sleepy, this guy, and his shtick is outside of wanting to play the latest and greatest video games, he thinks that Kaguya hates him and wants to kill him.
I love those bits.
God,
Yeah, that's
some
good
of my
shit.
favorites.
His facial reactions are great because they're always in apt fear whenever she enters a room, and it's completely unjustified and unfounded. But he's an anxious ball of a mess, and he goes up to the president, and the president never knows what he's talking about half the time.
I feel like sometimes there were times with Ishigami where I was like, you say things that kind of don't, like, he doesn't disrespect women, but like he just says some ignorant things sometimes.
Yeah, he does.
But to me, I think it really falls into, you're also an introverted high school boy. Like, you know, this is a thing that I find believable and something that you could grow out of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he is detestable in that way.
Yeah.
And I also think that what counterbalances that is just like, those outbursts are very few and far between, and whenever he realizes that he's made a mistake, he just goes full 500% self-deprecation mode, and I love his walkouts so much.
So defeated.
He's just I'm gonna go home. I've wronged the world. I'm gonna go home.
Jesus.
So it's just really funny. I think again with this show, like even the flaws of all the characters are equally as endearing as to like the good parts of their personalities. So he's good stuff. I like him.
Yeah, for sure.
A character. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I like how him and Chika play off each other sometimes as well.
Yes.
I low-key ship it. Mostly
It's
because
good
Chika reminds me a lot of my friend Bethany, and Bethany and Andrew are a couple, and I'm like, well, their anime personas should be a couple too.
Damn.
I see the inner workings here.
But joking aside, yeah, I think he's a great character, and I do like that he gets put in his place several times throughout the show. But yeah, he's good. I like him. I feel like we should also talk about Shirogane for a bit too, because he's fucking good. He's so good.
He is. I mean this in the most loving way. He's a dweeb.
Every time he screamed, I laughed.
Yes, completely.
Which is interesting because his outward appearance gives you that sense that like he is a hard ass and always is he is calculating, but like, nah, man, he's just a normal dude. He pushes himself too hard to a point where he looks like he's always pissed off, but inside he's just freaking out all the time.
I mean, you gotta love a man who will pick up the phone in full professional voice and say, "I'm naked right now. I'm in the bathtub."
Oh god.
God, that was so fucking good.
I also like that he's not rich. I like that he worked his way up. I like that he is this boy who actually works his fucking ass off, but also still thinks he's better than fucking everybody. It's great. I love how layered these two main characters are. Yeah. Because they are very much products of their upbringings in some ways, and also very much not in a lot of ways. And I think that also plays into the comedy of the show really well.
I like it a lot, actually. Yeah, I wrote that down. I was like, opposites attract. He works too hard, and Kaguya is a lady who has influence.
She also works very hard, though. I think that's what's great about the show, is that despite their backgrounds, they are very similar people. Mm-hmm. And similarly, really fucking stupid for geniuses. Like...
Yeah, that's what just makes it so fun.
That's what... And you think that would get old at some point, but somehow it doesn't.
I mean, it made me think as the show was going on, I'm like, so every episode or skit is basically them a match and who's going to win and lose. And I was like, how would the show even end? Who would actually confess first? Would it be Shirogane or Kaguya? I'm like, well, maybe Shirogane, but then again, they're both dense at points, and that leads in the comedy of it all. So it's fun for me to think how it would happen.
Yeah, I think you make a great point though, Cassie. Their chemistry is you do really want them to get together. They're super cute. They're super cute together, which is important in a romantic comedy. So, good stuff with that. Another character that I actually did want to talk about, who I just wanted to see some more of, was Hayasaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. I think she's pretty interesting.
She's also another,
And,
if I remember right, she dressed like a gal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when the show was airing, and I had the same sentiment as well, but Cass told me, she's like, man, I want to see more of this girl, because she was only really in it for not that much of the show, which was kind of unfortunate.
That and like they show that she's like so important to like Kaguya.
Yeah,
like she's somebody who understands her very intimately, and I would have liked to see more of that backstory.
Yeah, I'm really hoping there's more with her being featured in the second season. Just because, like, I mean, I definitely am bummed we didn't see more of her, but I did like what we got, which makes me just be like, please give me more later. I like the one where she's just trying to take a fucking bath. She can't take a fucking bath.
That was great. She's just tired of everyone's shit, and then she keeps getting interrupted constantly.
Yeah, and I like how she, her banter with Kaguya and the way she treats her. Damn right. I agree with that picture you just posted.
For the audio listeners, it's a screenshot of Kaguya-sama, the manga. Kaguya and Chika are clearly the best girls of Love is War. And then, with a caption, Hayasaka lied as naturally as she breathed.
Yes, the full line that she is underrated. And I feel like, I haven't read the manga. At this point in the anime, I do feel that she's underrated. So I'd like to see more. And I'm very excited that we are getting more. Do y'all want to move on to talking about how this show looks?
What's that?
Do you want to talk about how the show looks?
Sure.
It's gorgeous. The character designs are so good. Everywhere where Magical Sempai failed, Kaguya is perfect.
Hell yeah.
Do you want production fun facts on this one?
Yeah,
Craig's Credit Corner!
Okay, so it's interesting when I looked this up. The director has two names. He went by Mamoru Hatakeyama, but his real name is Shinichi Omata. This guy directed Rakugo Shinju and Sankareya.
What?
Yeah.
God damn.
Crazy.
He went by the name Mamoru Hatakeyama for Rakugo and Sankareya, but his actual name is Omata. The writer, series composition is Yasuhiro Nakanishi. Did the screenplay for the fourth Digimon Tri movie, Lost. Character design, obviously here. Yuko Yahiro did the character designs of Bigata HK and Cass's favorite anime, and I wanted to bring this up, Diabolic Lovers.
You should be saying that to Cammy. That would be funny.
Yeah, I have more loathe for Diabolic Lovers.
Music.
I disgruntledly enjoy it because
I know.
It's bad. Like nobody should actually watch that show, but I'm probably gonna watch it again at some point.
Yeah, you will. Music is Kei Haneoka, and Cass. This guy hasn't really done much music, but I wanted to write this down because Anime Music Quiz loves to show this opening. They did the music for the anime REC.
The one we always fucking forget.
Yeah, the opening of.
REC is actually a rather really cute short.
Yeah.
That people.
I really want to check that one out.
I haven't watched it in a million years, so I don't know if I would love it as much now as I did then, but there's just something cute about a girl trying to become a voice actress. I like it. Anyway.
So
we gotta. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So yeah, as Cass said, it's I guess it's kind of apt that we have two diametrically opposed shows here in the same somewhat similar genre, but this show is clean. A1 did a really fucking good job with this production, and God, that opening has such style, and the ending is cute as fuck. This show's cool, guys. Fucking watch it.
Sometimes it looked better than it honestly even needed to. Like,
yes,
there was no
absolutely.
reason for it to be as pretty as it was. There's no reason for it to be as dynamic as it was, but it being there just added so much to the enjoyment experience, but also to some of the points of comedy. So,
yeah,
good on it.
The facial
absolutely.
reactions.
So many goddamn, like, textures and shadows and, like, mask transitions in places and, like, visual effects. Like, they just did not skimp, like, anywhere in this show. It was so good.
I mean, it is Love is War after all. They had to make it look good.
Mista!
Mista! Oh man, that opening is spectacular. And the other thing too that I did want to mention, as well as the visual production, like we mentioned before, but on a whole, voice acting was amazing.
It was. It made the show, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I think we've also talked multiple times about how good voice acting really uplifts a comedy show, and this is proof of it.
You know,
It's true.
it's interesting. I'll bring this point up. I wish the show, or rather, I could see the show getting a dub. It does not have a dub yet.
Yeah.
Ironically, and I forgot to mention this during Magical Senpai, that show has a dub.
Huh.
Why does one show get a dub, but this show doesn't get a dub? It's beyond me.
Licensing?
Yes, probably that's it. Either way, I like the Japanese cast of this. Chika's voice actress, fun fact, I've mentioned it way back in the impressions, is the voice actress for Lala from Star Twinkle Precure. But
Oh wow!
I believe Shirogane and Kaguya as well are newbie voice actors, or new in the game. Same with Chika's voice actress. So
good for them.
Yeah.
Sheesh, so good.
Yeah, I'm looking up Kaguya's voice actress right now, and she's done some stuff.
Oh yeah,
But she's definitely way newer than maybe some of the other voice actors or actresses that we get in contact with. I did actually have one friend who was not a big fan of Shirogane's
really?
voice actor, which is crazy to me, but it just shows that different people value different things, and that's totally okay. But he kind of was the best voice actor in my opinion. Like, every time he screamed, it was
His screams were so good.
perfect. Absolutely. Like, it had me rolling every time. And his delivery was just perfection.
She's so cute.
I loved his voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess different strokes for different folks. But yeah, the voice cast was fucking amazing, and is 9 times out of 10 made me laugh more than the stuff that was going on, or at least accentuated what was going on.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have the Chica dance playing right now, and I'm just
It's
like,
so
this
fluid.
rotoscoping is insane.
It's
so
really
good.
good.
Yes. Yeah, I think, honestly, on a whole, the production's just great. I can't think of any areas that I was dissatisfied with. If anything, in most aspects, I was like, wow, this is better than it might even really need to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly have a hard time coming up with
Any
complaints,
nitpicks?
at least when it comes to the production. I think that it was one of the most clean things that I've seen in a pretty long time, especially for a genre.
Yeah.
There's very few times do I
Yeah.
talk about comedy shows and I'm like, man, did you guys see how fucking dynamic that animation was? That doesn't happen
Mhm.
very often.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to drop some ratings?
Yeah.
I get to go last again.
You do.
I can go.
I
I can go
will-
first if you want again.
You sure?
Go. Again, short and sweet and to the point. I like this show. It was a pleasant surprise. As I said before, it took me about an episode or so to kind of like get with the pace of what was going on, but I was pleasantly surprised with it. I grew to like the characters, and am very excited to see what happens in season 2. Love is War, and it was a fun ride. Stupidly well animated again, and yeah, this has spawned a live action movie apparently,
Whoa.
yeah. This property got really popular, and you can go check out the official release and the manga. I just saw that last night at Barnes & Noble.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. When I was first watching the show, and I agree, like Craig, I had a little bit of a transition time to really get used to it. But the further that I watched this show, the more and more that I started to enjoy it. This is also kind of a Mob Psycho situation for me that's just like, I really like look objectively for flaws, and I really can't find many at all.
Mm.
And I mean, most importantly, I find so many good things about it that I love. The thing, again, for me, sometimes the comedy didn't make me like laugh super hard, whether that's because I was watching it by myself or just like the type of comedy that I like. Even when it wasn't, it was just such a treat to watch because of the beautiful production and endearing characters. And then when it did make me laugh, it was also great. This show is definitely worth at least checking out. I think it's worth your time, and I think that it just does everything so great. I can't really give it any less than a love it. So it goes ahead and gets a love it.
Damn.
And choo choo, let's chug on forward to season 2. I look forward to more.
That's high praise.
So yeah. I'll go ahead and also give a recommendation for this show. If you really like romantic comedies in a rich upper crust setting that also makes some jokes at the expense of just like certain kinds of like privilege and intelligence and stuff like that, you might enjoy Ouran High School Host Club or Ouran Koukou Host Club.
Bless.
This was not...
Cute.
Yes, hell yeah. This was not the first show that I thought of to recommend, but it honestly does make a lot of sense. The settings are very similar, and some of the jokes just around like really stupid things that shouldn't be a big deal. Like one of the early jokes in Ouran is someone getting them instant coffee to drink, and they've never had commoners instant coffee before, and then there's this big uprising about them trying it for the first time and thinking it's like a revolutionary deal. And Haruhi says, I fucking hate these rich people. So it is really, really good. It's a classic. It's one of my favorite shoujos, and I do think that it's probably something that you'll enjoy if you enjoyed Kaguya to any slight degree. So go ahead and check that out.
Right on.
But yes. All right, Miss Cassie, you passed this show. Tell us your thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to try and actually not cough really loudly into the mic. I've taken some really good deep breaths. I think that Kaguya is probably my favorite anime comedy. I haven't watched anything that's made me laugh as hard as it has in a really long time. I do think that there are other comedies that I really do adore, like Daily Lives of High School Boys, for example. But I just feel like this one specifically not only made me laugh, but also just catered to very specific things that I personally really like. And I like that it's able to pander to some audiences while also completely welcoming others. I think anyone can watch Kaguya-sama and have a pretty good time. And I think that shows that the show is a pretty damn good comedy. I like it. It's good. I love this show. I would rewatch it again. And I probably will at some point because it's just a delight. It's a treat. I have a favorite cake that when I go back to South Carolina that I always try and get from Publix because I just want to experience it one more time, and it's just never enough. And I think that Kaguya-sama is that yummy cake from Publix. It was good the first time. It'll probably be good every other time I eat it. I love it. I want to consume it until my dying day. It's really good anime. You guys should watch it. Just love it.
Damn, high praise.
Awesome. Awesome possum. All right. I got a hot party to get to soon, so I'm just going to hit you with a few of our closing notes. We won't have a spoiler room for this episode.
Okay.
If you want to get in touch with us or see what we are up to, you can check us out at twitter.com/AnnieChatBox. You can send us an email saying anything you want at anniechatmail@gmail.com, though, we we will read things on the air, preferably nice things. If you want to listen to us, check us out at iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Spotify, or YouTube. And if you are feeling charitable as of late or want to make us watch things like Tejina-senpai some more, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/AnnieChatBox. Big shout outs to our patrons. That include Sarah, CorpsyAnn, Carol, Suki, Paul, and TroubleClef. We love you! And if you can't get enough of Craig or Craig's voice, or that of occasionally mine, Cassie's voice, and then Zach, Pete, and Paul, go check out Save Our Progress at soundcloud.com/saveourprogress. Look forward to their end of the year specials that will also be coming out soon.
Woot.
And with that is episode 135 of the Annie Chatbox. We are going to be signing off. Take care.
Whoa.
Oh, and
Cass, don't
Cassie's
die.
gonna live. Cassie's gonna rest and recover.
This is my last episode. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh my god.
Cammy, take the wheel.
Right.
Cammy, take the wheel.
All right.
Cammy, take the wheel!
Now some of those loud noise. Oh, Cassie, please don't die.
Wow, she just starts right in.
And this is where I die.